Great. So we're ready to roll. Great. So today we're going to be discussing something very interesting. As you all know, I'm the guy who's going to be talking about how we can reprogram our subconscious mind in the easiest and the fastest way. Are you all with me on that? Give me a big yes, raising your both the hands up. Now, there are many things we can look into the handwriting, but today we're going to be focusing on one important, very, very important dimension. Yes, this is not to do something to about your procrastination. So let's explore this. Everybody, I hope you're able to see my screen, and this is what we're going to be discussing today. What stops us from taking action? How many of you like to discuss and find out and discover that about your own self? No, it's not about you having procrastination. It's not about you not able to take a decision. There's something more bigger as a problem when we are actually looking at it. I'm going to be introducing you to a new word which you have never heard about it, because this is something which all of us have been doing it, but we don't know that we actually do that. We already know we need to take action. Why talk about it? Because we are experiencing something called as akrasia. How many of you have heard this for the first time? If you've not heard this, go ahead, raise your hand. Imran, I have not heard this before. And this is the first time you're listening to this word. So go ahead, write down this somewhere in your notebook, because we're going to be discussing about this today. Akrasia is something which is identified by the Greek philosophers. And what is akrasia? Let's find out more about that. Akrasia is basically human beings have been putting across things, over the century. The problem is so timeless. In fact, the ancient Greek philosophers like Socrates and Aristotle developed a word to describe this type of behavior, and that is called as akrasia, is an ability of putting things off. That means I'll do it tomorrow, I'm going to be doing it little later. But what is important for you to really understand about akrasia is this important thing. Akrasia is not just about postponing things, but it's about doing one thing instead of what you're supposed to be doing, which is more meaningful, which is more important. Let me say this again. Akrasia is not postponing things. Akrasia is not about procrastination. Akrasia is basically doing one thing instead of doing what you're supposed to be really doing. Let me give you an example using all the wonderful ladies out there. How many times you prioritize exercise jana tha, walking jana tha, but what you did was, no, 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 I have to clear the wardrobe. I have to now arrange these things. Oh, it's been pending for some time. So instead of exercising, you chose to spend some time clearing your wardrobe. How many of you have done this? Right? So some of you do this. Like, what is akrasia? Akrasia is doing one thing instead of doing the actual thing. Like you're supposed to be sitting down and making affirmations. That is the thing you're supposed to be doing. But instead of that, what you're doing is that, okay, let me join the community group. Okay, let me find out who is the customer care thing. So you're basically getting into that. Okay, which are the what are the lessons I have as an access? Okay, which are, like, can you see that you're not prioritizing what is the important action to do it? How many of you are able to relate to this? Yes, Imran, unknowingly I've been doing this. Unknowingly have been doing this. Like, you're supposed to be actually taking some massive action, like reading through the program or preparing for an examination, but you sit down and find out, like, iske upar thoda research kar lete hain, and that research goes on to do something else. So how many of you are able to relate to it? Type in me on the chat box, or just raise your hand so I know that what you're talking about. Great. Now the question is, Imran, yeah, I know all the answers. You're not able to see these messages. It's okay. I'm able to see that. I'm able to, my chat box is on fire right now, because we all have this problem. But what is important for us to identify this and how this can be resolved is, write down this. The problem why we are experiencing akrasia is because we have a major understanding to decode, and that is called as time consistency. Write down this, everybody. We have something very interesting and a very crucial conversation. So what are we looking at? We're looking at akrasia, and now we're going to a very important aspect, which is called as time consistency. Now, the problem with time consistency is, write down this. If you're not making notes, please do make notes. My job is to make you write, so I'm going to find out reasons to make you write. And one of the reasons to make you write is to write down this word, time consistency. What is time consistency? How many of you have heard this of before, right? You've not heard of it because this is the problem with most of us. We don't even know that we don't know. And we want results in our life. And we think we want results through this, but you don't know, but this is the actual thing which will give you results. Are you with me on that? So sometimes it's just about getting present to the actual problem. Time consistency is the biggest challenge our generation is experiencing right now. This is what time consistency means. It means we value immediate reward. What do we value? We value immediate reward more highly than the future rewards. What is time consistency? Time consistency means Samadhan wants immediate gratification. Imran, I pay for platinum program. I want immediate shift in my HRCM. Can you see that? You want immediate gratification. Okay. The moment you do something, you want immediate gratification. And you're not to be blamed. This is how the world has programmed right now. They have programmed us for instant and immediate gratification. You think about eating something, now they're delivering it in 10 minutes. You think about you want to go somewhere, you can book your flight tickets right now, this moment. You don't even have to wait for the counter to open tomorrow morning at the airport. So can you see that we all are being programmed? But what is missing is we don't look at the future rewards. That's why we want everything right now, this moment. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Give me a big yes. Imran, guilty. I have done this with myself. Like if I sit down and talk to Preeti, let's plan your financial goal 5 years down the line. Let's have this amount showing up in your bank account. Preeti will say, let me now think about making instant money right now. Let me talk about savings when I have money. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Right? So you want instant gratification. That's why when you take a diet plan, you want to work on your weight, you want it to work in the next 2 days of you eating. And the moment you see that 2 days, yeah, I'm not feeling any change or shift, you don't want to, follow that. How many of you know what you have done that? And we not only do that with diet or the bigger things, it could be as simple as you writing affirmations, you practicing gratitude, or you're doing hope no. You do it once or you twice. Because it's not showing up result immediately, you let go of it. And this is the problem with us. And we don't even realize this. And everybody has been programmed around the same thing. When you make plans, you're basically not seeing yourself in the future. And that's why no matter how many goals you write, no matter how many, programming you do for yourself, it's not giving you results. You know why? Because you're not able to see yourself in the future. You want immediate gratification. Now, these are the things which are not making you take action because you don't get immediate results. You don't get immediate, gratification. That's why you don't take actions. How many of you know what I'm talking about right now? Because you want everything which is short, result oriented, and it has to happen right now. Now, this is a problem. We identified that. But the question is, Imran, how do I know whether it is part of my subconsciousness? So everybody raise your hand and point out to your brain and your mind, say that, okay, how do I know it's part of my subconscious mind? Because I don't want you to believe that you have this problem just because I talked about a problem. And many of us have this. How many of you do this problem? How many of you have this habit? I talk about any particular health challenge or a disease or a problem, and I talk about the symptoms of this. And some of us have this habit of like, यार मेरे को भी लगता है because मेरे को भी ऐसा होता है. I you also feel like this. I think मेरे को भी यही problem है. How many of you have this problem? Now, never ever do this. Never ever do this. So now that I talked about the problem, I don't believe that I have a problem until I know I have diagnosed that until I know I have actually identified this. So how do I do that is, let me find out if you have akrasia or not, and find out what are the things you can look into your handwriting only if you have it in your handwriting. So there are two things which will happen right now. If I'm going to show Shikha, this is what akrasia shows up in your handwriting. Only if it is there in your handwriting, that means you are experiencing that. If it is not there in your handwriting, that means it's only you thinking that you have it. Okay? No, don't go by what you're thinking, because sometimes thinking is not positive. Thinking is not something which is going to give you result, because sometimes it demotivates us. So let's look into the first aspect, what makes us not take action. And I will also show you how to see this in your handwriting. But promise me, more than anything else, you are not going to learn this to look into other people's handwriting. You're going to be using this to first figure yourself out. Are you all with me on that? Okay, don't sit there with a mindset saying that I'm fixed. I'm now going to fix others. No, you need to first focus on yourself. Remember, you're your biggest client. You are your biggest client. So how do we see this in handwriting? Do you experience akrasia? How do we really see this in your handwriting? So number one is we see this through a behavior which is called as fear of disapproval. One of the reasons why Mehul may not be taking action, one of the reasons why Kapil is not taking action, one of the reasons why Ayushi is not able to take actions in her life is because of fear of disapproval. In simple language, fear of disapproval means you fear people will disapprove of you or your idea or your belief or your ideology. So much so that some of you don't even like to share with people that you follow something called as a healing program called as Hope No. Because in your head, the fear is that what will people think about me? People will think I'm an educated man, I'm a double degree, I'm a postgraduate, I'm a doctor, and I'm talking about all these things. So you fear people disapprove of you. So much so that some of you don't even call yourself as trainers, coaches, and healers. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Like some of us attend DMP also very secretly. Because आपको लगता है कि ये सब मैं चीज़ें बोलूँगा, my husband will think I'm crazy, or my wife will think I'm not really in alignment, or my friends will think that something is wrong with me, that I'm following all this pseudosciences. That's the word they use. So fear of disapproval means you fear that people will disapprove of you, and that's why you're not taking action. So many of you have this beautiful ability of writing books, becoming an author, publishers, and contribute towards teaching and learning, but you have not been taking action. You know why? You fear people will disapprove. So this is the first part of the problem. How many of you are able to relate to it? Just raise your hand and say, yes, Imran, I'm able to relate to that. Yeah, in companies also we have this experience, and we have experienced this in our work life, in your family, and everything. Number two is many of us feel you're not taking actions. You know why? Because you feel little less about your own self, because you think you don't speak English properly, or you think that you don't have enough, validation or knowledge to put it across, and that's why you're not taking action. So how do you see this in your handwriting? You're going to be seeing this in two different ways. Number one is look into the letter D in your handwriting. What you see in the letter D is you will see there will be a small narrow loop in your handwriting. So if you're writing the word dear, you will see you have a loop in your D. You will have the loop in your D. Okay, it could be a big loop or it could be a narrow loop, as simple as this. Even if it is showing up once in your handwriting, this is problematic. This is problematic. So this is the first part of it. The second part of it is you will also see this showing up in your handwriting, like in the letter T. So even if you're writing the word, T, you'll see that there's a very narrow loop which is showing up in your handwriting. See this here, very narrow loop. So the loop in your T and your D, because it's not the letter, it is about the way you write it, the way your fingers are moving it. Because remember, handwriting is coming from your subconscious mind. I'm able to decode your subconscious mind using your letters. And these letters, the letter D loop, the loop in your T. What is loop? Loop means if you're writing two lines, the space between these two lines is called loop. So if I find a loop in the D or the T, even if it is showing up once, congratulations, you have fear of disapproval. This has become your major roadblock. This has become a major roadblock. So now two scenarios. Number one, you have this, congratulations. It is your subconscious mind also validating what you think that why you're not taking action is because of fear of disapproval, and your handwriting is validating. And if you don't see this in your handwriting, raise your hand, go back of your head, give yourself a tap, say, better start taking action. Stop giving reasons that you have fear of disapproval, because this is the illusion you're living in. You're actually feeding your subconscious mind that, you know what, log bura मान जाए, you know, my family will not agree, that's why I'm not. You're, वो बोलते हैं ना, ख्याली पलाव बना रहे हैं. So there's no reality in your conversation. So basically, you're looking for reasons for not taking action, which is not the truth. Are you all with me on that? Are you all with me on that? So how many of you have it? If you have it, raise one finger up of your hand. Okay, very good. Got it. Got it. Now the question is, Imran, how do we fix this? Simple. We have a material which we have designed for you. In this material, what we have done is we have actually given you specific letters to work on. So we want you to work on your T like this. So graphotherapy is the process I'm referring to right now. So make sure that you remove the loop in your T, and also make sure that you remove the loop in your letter D. So this is how we have been practicing. This is how we have been telling people to take care of it, because the T and the D are two important letters to work on. So this is how you write your D. And you must be sitting there, you know, maybe you have, no, only the letter T and the D. Letter H, L, B, all the other letters, no focus. Focus on here. Whether you write cursive writing, print writing, no, the question here is not about what you were taught in the school or not. The focus is, if you see in your handwriting, let's work on it. Are you all with me on that? And you know what? Akrasia is not just about not taking action. How many of you also have this problem? The trainer is teaching something, but you're asking something else. The trainer is telling, this is step number 1. And you're asking, step number 14 mein kya hoga? Like, step number 1. You distract yourself so that you don't pay attention, so that there's no stress on you to apply or work or take action. Make sense? How many of you do this? You know, one of the reasons why we don't take questions in DMP or any of the sessions is that Manas will ask me a question. I'm answering Manas. And you know what is the sad part? Manas is not listening. Why Manas is not listening? Because Manas is preparing for the next question. Yes, Mitesh ji, मेरे को ये समझ में आ गया, but you know what I was asking, like, you're not listening. And some of us, we ask questions because we want to intellectually prove that we got that. Are you with me on that? Right? You know, thanks to Mitesh ji, I was introduced to Dr. D. Martini. How many of you know Dr. D. Martini? And live session, Mitesh ji puts me into the spotlight, and I say, Mitesh ji asked me, Imran, what do you like to ask Dr. D. Martini now that you have an access to it? You know what I did was I said, thank you, D. Martini, for whatever you shared. I have no questions. Are you with me? And because I did not ask question, Dr. D. Martini asked me, Imran, what do you do? I say, I'm a handwriting analyst. And Dr. D. Martini went on to talk about how he met a handwriting analyst very early in his career, how this science really works, and how this is something which I'm practicing is the future and things like that. How did I get that? You know what? I did not try to be intelligent by asking a question. I just said gratitude for whatever you learned. And because I did that, I gave him an opportunity to have a conversation with me. Make sense now? So can you see that how sometimes akrasia comes up into play? Not in just thinking, action, but it's about the way we operate in our life. Are you all with me on that? Right? That's why you see that people distract you with your messages, people distract you with questions. Like sometimes you are like, ये पूछना जरूरी था क्या? But sometimes people are asking questions. So just giving you a heads up. So this is called fear of disapproval. And we don't sell this book separately. It is part of my course curriculum, which is the first step program. And there is a reason why we have designed this book. There are specific lines, there's a design, there's a measurement to every element to it. Are you all with me on that? Thank you so much. Let's go to the next thing, which does not allow us to take action. The second leaves for the moment. Okay. So write down this word. It's called leaves for the moment. One of the reasons why we are not able to take action or create results in our life is we are not able to foresee yourself in the future. That means Aishwarya is taking decision today without foreseeing the consequences of this decision in the future. Let me give an example. How many of you have parents and they have these amazing stories to tell you? You know what? This property was only for 2 lakh rupees. Today it is 2 crore rupees. Why you did not buy it? Because nobody thought that is going to become so big. Are you with me on that? How many of you heard these stories? So what is the problem they're experiencing in their life is they're not taking decisions right now because they're not able to see themselves in the future. I'm not making them wrong, but the idea here is that the challenge is you're not able to see yourself in the future. You're thinking about right now what is a gratification. You're not willing to wait for 5 years to see the maturity. It's like the MR of shares. It's you do not see, like you do not invest for the future saving. You said, I'll invest today. Tomorrow morning, market will open. I'll sell this, I'll make the profit. And in the process of instant gratification, you're not able to do that. And not only about taking decisions, this is how you operate your life. You're not able to see yourself as a happy person down the line. You want to figure out right now because you think the problem requires to be fixed right now. How do you see this in your handwriting? Pay attention. Your handwriting is divided into zones. Hello? Are you all with me? This is called, your handwriting is defined into zones. Let me give you clarity about zones. So whenever you write, make sure your handwriting should, you show up in the zones like this. So anything and everything I write should be a part of these 3 elements. These 3 elements means there is a middle zone. Are you with me on that? There is an upper zone and there's a lower zone. So every time you write letters, it should have defined zones. And many a times when you're writing handwriting, you don't have zones defined in your handwriting. You're bit not defining zones. For example, if you're writing the word that, how many of you have a habit of writing middle zone letters so big it is actually equivalent to the upper zone letters? Every time you write. So for example, if you're writing the word platinum, so like this, the P, the size of the L and the A. So all the letters which are supposed to be going up, letter L, letter D, letter H, okay, letter B, all these are letters which are supposed to be going up, but is not going up enough. It is as much as sitting within the middle zone. Can you see that? My T is supposed to be going up, but my size of the T and the O is the same size. How many of you are able to relate to that? So that means to say that the letters which are supposed to go up is not going up enough. How much it should go? Now Shabir is asking, Imran, in my name, yes, H, A, B, B, I. That means the 3 upper stroke letters. But when he is writing Shabir, can you see that? The H, the A, the B, and R. Can you see that? All of it is in the same level. It's not going up. How much it should go up? It should go at least 2 times up. So these are the people who are not able to foresee themselves in the future. So if I'm going to ask Shabir, how do you see yourself 3 months down the line, 6 months down the line? Now Shabir is like, Imran, aaj ka dekhte hai na. Let me live life as it comes. Let me, live life as it comes. How many of you like, aaj ka aaj dekhte hain? So in human behavior, we call this as an approach called as, there are 2 approaches. Everybody give me 2. The first approach is called as the farmer's approach. And the second approach is called as a hunter's approach. What is hunter's approach? Hunter's approach is I go, I hunt, I eat today, I'm done for today. Tomorrow, let's see. What is farmer's approach? Farmer's approach is I'm going to sow the seed right now. I'm going to nurture it, and I'm going to see to it that it grows into from a sampling to a plant, and then I get the fruits, the seeds, and it is going to keep on giving me again and again and again. So that's the farmer's approach. But you know what? Technically, we want to be farmers, but on an emotional level, we are hunters. How many of you agree with me? Type in hunter on the chat box or H on the chat box because emotionally we want this. Imran, आज मितेश जी के साथ बात हो जाए, आज मुझे फिक्स हो जाए, लेट मी फिक्स दिस, मेरा आज जॉब लग जाए, नो आज मेरा रिलेशनशिप फिक्स हो जाए, आज मेरी मैरिज बच जाए. सो ऑल ऑफ अस आर ऑपरेटिंग ऑन अ इमोशनल लेवल. रिमेंबर द फ्रीक्वेंसी इज व्हाट? Hunters. Now the question is, Imran, how do I fix this? So what we have done is we have figured this out in the material, and there are so many elements which we make you write, which helps you to define your lower zone, not only your upper zone. So when you're writing your upper zone or lower zone, not only we are defining your lower zone, kitna niche jana chahiye lower zone letters, and even if you're writing the upper zone letters, how much upper it should be going. So all this definition of defining upper zones, all the definition of going upwards on there. Are you all with me on that? So every time you write your name or your signature or anywhere, anything you write, please make sure you read with defined upper zones. All the letters should be defined with upper zones. How much? It should be at least 2 times. How do you measure the 2 times? Whatever is your middle zone letters. Are you with me on that? Whatever is your middle zone letters. For example, let me take one more name. Let me take Mihul. Okay, so if writing, if you write H, U, and the L, if this is the size of your middle zone, it should be 2 times the size of your upper zone. That's how it is. So whatever, if it is 1 centimeter, this should be 1 and 1. Or at least once it should be double. It should be at least once the double. And you will see that you're not consistent. Sometimes you're very consistent, sometimes you're not. And that's why many of us, remember, we all are time consistency. Remember the challenge we talked about? Aaj ka bolo, Imran. Tell me money today. Tomorrow, no. That's why some of us don't believe in mutual funds. Some of us don't believe in other ways of investment because it does not, comprehend. For you, it's all about right now, this moment. And that brings in a lot of stress. How many of you agree with me? It is the reason why you have anxiety right now or you're experiencing anxiousness is because you're looking for instant gratification. And this is, I'm talking on a very concrete level. Let me give you the smallest possible example. It's like this. If I call up Mona, Mona does not pick up my phone. And my anxiousness kicks in. I call Mona again. I call Mona again. And if she's not picking up, from the time she's not going to pick up, from the time she's going to pick my call, my brain has already started churning ideas. Oh, she's upset because last time I said this. Oh, she's avoiding me right now. Oh, Mona does not want to give me the money she owes me, or she's not willing to help me. She's always there when she wants. How many of you have this? All that happened is what? Mona did not pick up the call. Why? You want instant gratification. आप phone करेंगे, वो बंदा phone उठाना चाहिए. The moment somebody does not pick up, how many of you get ticked off? Imran, I get badly ticked off. It's like, why can't that person pick up? Why can't that person pick up? What is wrong with that picking up phone? At least उसको message तो करना चाहिए था, उसको busy है बोलकर like क्यों नहीं हो रहा है? Now, this is why one of the reasons why how do you handle anxiousness is start trusting the process of life. Are you all with me on that? Start trusting the process of life. Everybody raise your hand and say, I trust the process of life. I'm no more anxious. Thank you. So let's go to the next part, why you are not able to take action. Are you with me? Let's talk about it. So the next thing why we are not going to be taking actions and why anorexia is part of it is that he gets into trouble because he leaves for today and fails to see the consequences of his action. Okay. Fear of failing. So one of the major problem why we're not able to take actions in our life is you fear failing. Imran, I'm starting off new. Okay, this is my best shot right now. If I fail, nothing is going to be helping me. And we all experience this and it is valid. Everybody raise your hand and say, fear of failing is natural and it's valid. Okay, you can't undo this. Every dish you make, every time you create something new, there is a fear and a possibility that it may not be as good as it was previously. How many of you are with me on that? So one of the things we need to tell to yourself, and one of the things which you need to really work on your own self, is that please give yourself permission to fail. Stop looking for perfect strategies. Stop looking for perfect game plan, perfect blueprint, fail proof action plan. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. If you don't have an appetite of failing, forget, you are not going to experience success. If you don't have an appetite for failing, you will not experience success. Are you all with me on that? And that is why my next problem is also the next thing which most of us experience is that we have a perfectionist mindset. What do we have? We have a perfectionist mindset. We want everything perfectly. And I want you to please write down this. Write the word perfectionist and write down the sentence below. The sentence is, perfection is the lowest standard of work. Because if something becomes so perfect, that means there's no scope for development. Do you want to reach the lowest standard of work? Or do you want to be open to evolve? That's why people have version 1, version 2, and all these things are happening. But the problem with you is the perfect one. How many of you have not yet launched your program, not yet launched yourself as a trainer? You know why? You're waiting for the perfect launch pad. Now, when every process is going to be ready, then I'll announce it. Okay, why not recording videos? The camera, the light, oh mic. I have ordered the mic. Once the mic comes, I'm going to do. Are you all doing? Now you're got into perfectionism. Write down this, everybody. Version 1 is better than version none. Version 1 is better than version none. Because many of us have this problem. We are not able to get out of that. You are always looking for the right thing. Are you all with me? Now, we are talking so much about action. I know I also gave you the handwriting. I also gave you an everything. Are you all with me on that? Okay. Now, the question is very simple. We all want you to take action. How many of you got the point? Imran, yes. Action lena hai. Ye end of the story. Climax, this is the product. Action lena. No. I'm not here to make you take action. Everybody, write down this. It's not about when we are talking about action, we are actually discussing the right action. Right action is pushing towards the thing you normally avoid. For me, action is equivalent to things which you will avoid taking, not which you're supposed to be taking. Hello? ये थोड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है, थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा लेकिन समझ में आ जाएगा. Everybody be with me. Don't fall into the anorexia loop. Don't allow your intelligence to come and become a barrier. Don't look at the television or the dinner time. Don't look at the watch. Can you see that what you're supposed to be doing, you're doing something else? Are you all with me? That's what happens. You're supposed to be driving the car, but what you're doing, you're watching the phone. So let's talk about this right now. So what is right action? Right action is moving into what is uncomfortable and what scares you. But so many of you taking that plunge of signing up for the platinum, taking that plunge and announcing your healing program, taking that plunge of investing big or standing up for your own self or investing on your own education was the most uncomfortable thing, because you are not the person who spends money. You're always about helping others, fulfilling others' needs. You never paid attention to your own self. In fact, even if you save up some money, your focus will be about how I can help somebody else in your family and friend. Now, right action is moving into what is uncomfortable or what scares you. So now, everybody, take a moment and write down what scares you as an action. For some of you, it could be letting go of the job and getting into the entrepreneur journey. For some of you, it could be about launching a program. For some of you, it could be about saying yes to that relationship. For some of you, it could be about saying no to that investment. So what scares you? What is the most uncomfortable thing? Because what you're looking is not instant gratification. It's about the future. It's about the future. Right action is mindful. Right action is not about somebody's winning, somebody's losing. It should be about win-win. Right action is a decision which, if, for example, if Raja takes a decision, he is taking the well-considered decision. He's not somebody who will take a decision and then do the thinking. Are you with me on that? That's not mindfulness. That's not mindfulness. That's why many of us have this problem. We take decisions when you're emotionally high. So the research says, in terms of human behavior, in the sway of emotions, your intelligence does not work. So whenever you're emotionally high, delay the decision. How many of you have done this? Imran, emotionally high, I took the decision only to repent later, because in the sway of emotions, intelligence does not work. That's why आप जब गुस्से में रहते हैं ना, you declare so many things. You promise that I'll never see your face again. I promise that I'm never going to do that again. This is the last time I'm stepping into your home. How many of you done that? Can you see that? सब मालूम है हमारे को, ये सब ठीक नहीं है, ये गलत है, और फिर भी करते रहते हैं, फिर भी करते रहते हैं. I'm not much of a shyer, but I want to share a शायरी with you. Are you all with me on that? It says, हंसी आती है हजरत इंसान पर, गलती खुद करे और लानत भेजे शैतान पर. So it roughly translates, so funny human beings are, they do all the errors they have to do and they blame it on the evil, or they blame it on the devil, like शैतान की वजह से मैं कर पाया. That time something got into my head, but it's you, no matter how much you justify. Are you all with me? So what is important for you is not about just taking action. What is important for you is to take the right action. So let's look into this part of it. We usually don't know what the best option. Important, sometimes you're thinking well considered decision and things like that. No, you need to set your default mode into taking action. How many of you are willing to take that risk appetite? Can you put yourself into, like Mitesh ji said, this is what you need to do. Go ahead, just do that. Don't bring your intelligence between that. Can you put yourself, it's like one of the best ways, what my secret of success is, that even if my coach will tell me to stand on one leg, send the email, I will do it. I will not even ask right leg or the left leg. Are you with me on that? Sometimes you need to put your faith into somebody who is more mature or more intellectually high than who you are. If you're so intellectually high, you're so capable, then why are you here? Are you with me on that? Yeah. Some of us pay money to the programs only to find out how good the trainer is. Because we are the amazing critics of trainers who pay fees first and then criticize the program. Sad, no? Sad, no? No, you did not pay to criticize me. You did not pay to give me feedback. You paid to learn something. You better learn that. I may not know anything about finance. You're above me. Take it. I may not know much about health. You're above me. Take it. I know about handwriting. Let me teach you that. Give me that benefit. Are you with me on that? Now, don't sit there and to find out, anything else. Take what you are here for. It's important that you need to really get into this sport. Okay. Are you all with me? Now, I can go on, tell you more, but just to settle this conversation, because we're not going to have this conversation again. Are you willing? Do you have more appetite of learning? Give me a big yes, everybody. Yeah, smile. It's okay. You don't have to be so sad. I know it's hard reality, but let's fix this. Okay. Let's talk about it. The reasons why we are not able to take action. One of it. Many of us not taking action because, okay, you don't have to write down all this. I'm speaking to you right now. So this is no more teaching. I'm having a conversation. One of this might be part of you. I'm waiting for help. It's like Kavita telling me, Imran, I just need somebody to tell me that this is right. I just want somebody to handhold me until I launch. And after that, I don't need. But the problem is nobody is helping me. I don't want, I want my family to take it. Now the conditions aren't right. This setback proved it's not possible or not worth it. Sometimes, one thing does not work. You take it as oh, this is the signal of the universe that this is not yet ready for me. Can you see that? And why is that? Universe will only give you negative signals. Positive bhi ho sakta hai na? Can you see how beautifully we turn around the education for our convenience? And the biggest problem with most of us is that, look at the fourth statement. You don't stand by your decisions. One thing does not work, you immediately start changing your niche. You immediately start changing your game plan, or maybe this is not for you. Now, how long did you test it that it did not work? Are you with me? Now, I can give you all fancy examples like Thomas Alva Edison. He was asked, tell me the one thing which make the bulb glow. He says, I don't know what is that one thing which makes the bulb glow, but I know the 999 ways the bulb will not glow. So that means to say that he stuck by that to get that bulb glowing. He would have simply said, "Char time nahi hoga, khatam kar dete." No, most of us have this problem. And some of us have this conversation, Imran, I don't know where to begin. Some of us buy programs, you don't take action. You know what your problem is? What your statements is that there's so many programs to do. I don't know where to start. That's why I'm not starting. Are you with me on that? There's so many things to do. That's why I'm not doing it. You're so overwhelmed. That's why you use the word. And some of us have given up. Like I can go on and on and on and on and on. Are you with me? How many of you are able to at least resonate with at least 3 statements there? How many of you are able to at least resonate with at least 3 statements? Everybody raise your hand and say guilty. Yeah. You need to change the way you speak to yourself. You need to change the way you speak to yourself. Okay. I had many more things to share with you, but I think we'll stop at this. Now, the question is, Imran, tell me, how do I figure this out? First thing is awareness. Second thing is, we have cracked the easiest and the fastest way to reprogram your subconscious mind, because no matter how much conscious efforts you put in, the result is in your subconscious, because that's where all this is sticking. Okay. I always tell this to my community members. Our subconscious mind is like a wall which is made up of clay. Whatever you throw at it, it sticks to it. But the problem is all the wrong things are sticking to it. It requires some cleaning. It requires some cleaning. That's why I have this program, which is, the name of the program itself is called as a first step. And the first step towards understanding your own self, first step towards understanding graphology, first step towards understanding graphotherapy, first step about discovering your own self, finding out your thinking pattern, and many more things. Yes, it involves time, investment of time and money. Yes, how do you enroll into that? We do a preview session, which is about 90 minutes. And we attempt to do it live most of the time, but even if it is recorded, go watch it, because I want you to have a clarity. Now, if you're very clear, yes, Imran, this is what I want to do. I want to find out more about myself and figure it out, because I think the most important education which we all need to have is education of self. So I want you really experience this as part of your platinum program, all that you have to do is reach out to IMK team. They will help you to activate this program, which is part of free, because I'm doing a dedicated live training program this Saturday, Sunday, 18th and 19th of this month. I'm doing a dedicated 2 full day program, 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock for the IMK community members. So all the platinum members, make sure that you sign up, order your material so that it comes to you. Yes, all of our program comes with physical course material. It is just one book which I showed you right now. Now there are a set of 6 books which actually comes to you with the stationery, pen and paper, so that I tell you how to write, exactly where to write, and what to write. So this is what I do, and this is what the conversation for today is. I look forward to seeing you in the next Wednesday session. And before that, I'll see you tomorrow in the webinar, and Saturday, Sunday in the live training program, writing or anybody's handwriting. And I invite you to have your first step towards understanding your own self. Thank you for being so patient and being so committed and showing up every evening as part of the DMP. More power to all of you. God bless you. Blessed night.